Hi everybody, welcome to Pet and Shape's Happiness Hangout.
My name is Colleen. I am a certified dog trainer and a certified behavior consultant. I own Podtopia in San Diego, and these other ladies have joined us today to talk about really what the new normal is going to look like and how we prepare our pets.
Hi, my name is Shira. I'm the owner of Valley Pet Sitting Incorporated. We are located in San Fernando Valley, and we are currently helping out right now with the essential workers as well.
Good morning. My name is Susie Olson, and I am the National Program Manager for Pets for Vets, which is a nonprofit 501c3. And basically what we do is we pair shelter animals with retired military veterans.
My name is Dr. Rebecca Ganaris. I am a veterinarian at Pleasantville Animal Hospital located in Fallston, Maryland. We're a family practice. There's actually 3 of us that my brother, my father, and I that work together. And I am a graduate of the Virginia, Maryland Regional College of Veterinary Medicine of 2016.
And it looks like you have a helper there.
Yes, he is. He's my shadow.
Well, Happiness Hangout for dogs. They're welcome.
That's right.
We just want to kind of touch base about, like, as we move forward out of this and possibly into a better place, what are some new normals? What are the things that we can do that we should expect, and also how we can prepare our pets? So one thing I really see is getting dogs back to the routine. We've been home a lot, but a lot of us will not be home as much. So how do we prepare our pets? Susie, do you have any suggestions that you've been doing with your veterans to prepare for this?
Well, I think one of the things that's obviously different when you work with the charity is that we stay connected with our veterans throughout this process, because really some of the things that they do need is that continued emotional support, as well as sometimes the financial support, because so many people have been out of work.
Right. And then for the pets, what are some differences that, getting the pets used to maybe all of us not being home as much? Because I know from a training standpoint, I've been recommending twice a day for at least an hour in the morning and the afternoon, start to leave your pet home alone. Because they've been used to us being around. So if they start to now say, okay, they're not going to be around as much, then it means they're going to have less separation anxiety when we do leave.
Right. I think we are a little bit unique in the fact that the majority of our clients are actually with their animals on a pretty regular basis. They don't have public access or animals, but a lot of our clients, because they are retired from the military, many of them only work part-time. So we do recommend that as one of the options. I think for us, it's going to be more about, especially with the dogs, making sure that they're sort of reintroduced to all of those things that go on in a community on a daily basis. Yes, there's been a lot of community activity, but just getting the animals out there and sort of reintroducing them to the buses and the traffic and all of the noises and things that are common in urban environments.
Yeah, that's definitely, I kind of always say go slow for success, especially as you've probably seen in, the vet industry and with dog walking, that a lot of people are adopting dogs. And with that, they have new health needs, new exercise needs. So how have you guys been addressing that? Shira?
For us, a lot of times some of our people work from home, and with a lot of people working from home, at times, sometimes the dogs want to stay with their owners, but then they're excited to go out with us. With us right now, we're doing something called door-to-door, which is basically minimizing all contact of our sitters and clients, where the dog is actually tied outside with the owner watching, and our workers will come with masks and gloves and come and take the dog and go on a walk. It has been a little different because it's so quiet, and a lot of people are kind of walking with masks, and the dogs are very curious, like what they're looking at. We're also wiping down their paws when you come back, regardless of weather, just to kind of eliminate anything that might be on the floors, and tying the dog back while the owner comes back. So with the walking, a lot of them are liking it, but it is a little more trickier with the owners being home because no one beats mom and dad.
Good point. Very good point.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Rebecca, what have you seen different?
I mean, as you mentioned, we have definitely been seeing, I would say, more puppies than usual. It is becoming our busy season, but a lot of our patients that we're seeing right now are puppies. And part of that is too, because we do consider puppy vaccinations to be essential for their long-term immunity. So, I mean, in the past, I mean, we do our best to socialize them just because anytime they come to the vet clinic, it's an opportunity for them to meet new people and just make it a good experience overall. But definitely, I mean, it can be a little scary for some of these new puppies because they have to be like physically separated from the owners now when they come into the vet clinic. So, I mean, we do our best to just continue to try to socialize them as much as possible because those vet visits are really important, not just for them to get used to us, but just meeting other people in general. So, I mean, luckily, I would say at least since puppy vaccinations are considered an essential service still, at least they're still able to get out and see us. And I'm no opposition to bribery. So we give them peanut butter, we give them treats. We try to just give them as much positive reinforcement as we possibly can when they come into the clinic and meeting new people. So I would say that's a big thing that we're just trying to do, maybe even more than normal when we're seeing puppies come into the clinic.
And that's important because, to your point, the pet parents are coming in. It could be a different experience for them. And that's also too with our pets. You know, a good tip I like to tell everyone is whatever's happening in your community. So if people are wearing gloves, if they're wearing masks, get your dog used to that at home. So putting on the mask, putting on the gloves and playing with them, putting on the mask, putting on the gloves and giving them treats or feeding them dinner. So then it helps when they're out in public and they see other, you know, this is a big change for them, seeing people with masks on and gloves. And so at that point, they won't be as afraid of strangers. And then also too, just getting them used to being around strangers, because with social distancing, they haven't been. So really praising them as they walk by people will help make that shift too, as we get back out into the new normal.
That's a great point. I think it's interesting you bring that up because for a period of time, we were doing curbside appointments, but we weren't all wearing masks, I would say, in the clinic since we were just working with each other until they really mandated and brought up the safety measures more. And it was interesting because I do think there has been a notable difference between discomfort and like kind of just anxious behaviors in dogs when they come in and they see the mask. So I think that point of owners, even if you're in your own home, especially with new puppies, to just wear masks and gloves just to get them used to it, I think is really important because I have definitely noticed that as being a difference when animals are coming into the clinic and seeing that on our faces.
And Susie, how has your organization kind of prepared your veterans for this as well, for kind of what this new normal looks like?
Well, I think, again, we're at an advantage because not only through our selection and our training, our animals are already exposed to a lot of these novel situations, because that's one of the reasons that those animals choose to come into our program, because we like to call them, you know, pretty much bulletproof with all of these things. And so that's something that's been kept up by our veterans. We, through a lot of communication, have encouraged them to continue with things like working on cooperative care, you know, canine and feline fitness, training games, scent work, and a lot of enrichment at home, so that there hasn't been such a disconnect from the communities for a lot of our animals. That being said, there's also the reality that, yes, of course, they haven't been out as much. And so it's really, again, just reminding people that they need to go in baby steps with their animals as well, and not go from sort of a really quiet, mundane, regular existence to the first time there's a park open, go there where, you know, there's huge crowds and lots of dogs, because that's going to be very overwhelming and stressful, especially for the animals, but also for the people.
Yeah, it's a good point. We're all going to want to go out and socialize and see our friends and do all those amazing things, and our dogs are going to want to as well, but really going slow for that success, especially with the newly adopted dogs, so that we build their confidence and make sure they're not afraid in the new world.
I actually got a puppy before all this happened, and one thing I'm noticing, I know I'm the owner, but she's a poodle, and she's very friendly, and she wants to approach everyone, and it has been a little challenging to teach her to stay away without knocking her later, because eventually, you know, I want her to approach people happily and calmly. But I'm noticing that, you know, with me having to take her on a walk myself, I'm having to watch how close she can get to people, and I'm trying to reinforce it's okay. So luckily, I have a sister of mine who has a dog, and I'm trying to socialize her puppy with my puppy so that she still maintains it's okay to come forward and closer. So we're trying to teach that also to our clients who have that thing as well, just to try to maintain that they'll be happy puppies wanting to approach rather than frightened or feel that they can't because we say, no, don't go to this person right now.
Right.
If that helps.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I call it what I've been doing are puppy parties. So as soon as someone approaches and right as they come forward and they start to do the 6 feet, right, social distancing, at that point the puppy party starts. So they see the person approaching, they get lots of love. I'm giving treats, and as the person is kind of walking by, treats. So it's making sure the focus stays on the pet parent, but also that person kind of coming and being in space is a good thing, and the avoidance is a good thing as well. Because I've seen some dogs get suspicious of people suddenly saying like, why are you moving so wide? Why are you moving away from me? So that creates that really positive experience that will then help in settings like vet hospitals and things like that.
And I think another point on that, Colleen, too, is I think that it's really important for pet owners to really listen to what their animals are telling them and to look at the body language that the dog is giving. Because a lot of times as people, we sort of like to put our animals without thinking about it in situations where then they're uncomfortable. And I think we really want to stress that please watch what your animal's telling you in social situations right now and try to act. And as you said, try to intervene on your animal's behalf and make it a positive experience so that they're not overwhelmed and you sort of take those, 1 step forward, 10 step back, and then need to start all over.
Right. Perfect point. Dr. Rebecca?
I think you guys have honestly hit the nail on the head, especially, I mean, like I said, I feel very lucky in that we can at least still celebrate the puppies and we get to love on them when they come in. Of course, we're sanitizing between patients and owners are when they get home, that kind of stuff. So at least if anything, at least we have that small bit where we're at least able to still make them have that positive experience with people, and we don't need to have that distance. But as far as like in the real world with social distancing, I think you guys have I don't really have anything great to add. You guys explain it perfectly.
Yeah, and I think to your point as well is when, even in a vet situation, when you're having to separate from your dog or when you're putting your dog out for the dog walker, making sure that the pet parent's attitude stays positive, upbeat, and fun. Because the dog is going to key off of that, right? So if we're a little nervous or we're sad that we're handing our dog off to the vet, the dog's going to feel that. But if we stay happy, upbeat, and be like, you're good, you're going to go on a walk, you're going to go to the vet visit, you're going to go do this fun thing, then at least that will set them up to have the emotional viewpoint that this is not a bad thing that they're doing. But that was great information. I really appreciate all the tips that everyone put in to help our pet parents adjust to getting back out in the world.
Here are a few of the key takeaways from this episode.